this morning. In Michigan, severe thunderstorms brought major flooding, damaging winds, and large hail, causing scattered damage and power disruptions. In Oklahoma, storms produced possible tornadoes along with wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and hail up to 3 inches in diameter. In Wisconsin, strong storms triggered tornado warnings and left behind damage to homes, downed trees, and power outages. We begin our team coverage this morning with Savannah Wood outside Green Bay, where there is a risk of dams overflowing their banks.
Good morning. It's getting more light outside, so we're able to kind of see what's happening here, but we have good news. You know, we've been here since about 5 a.m. We're at the Balsam Row Road Dam. It's just north of Shawano, and a utilities worker has been here monitoring the scene since we arrived and has been checking in with me each time that he's gone and checked the water levels. And for the past 2 hours, they have been remaining steady, which is great news. The last check was actually just a couple minutes ago. He said there is a thin stream of water coming over the top of the dam, but these sand berms that you're looking at now that they put in are holding well.
We were talking about people without power this morning as a result of last night and early this morning severe weather. On our way up here in Plainwell, we saw many down traffic lights. They were not working. Here we are now further down Miller Street. We were on the corner of Miller and 10th, but we are now further down the street where you can see this extensive damage. Now, this has kind of created a little bit of a dead end here on Miller, although the road goes far beyond this. We can see all of this damage. There's a huge tree that has been completely taken down. You can see all of this debris. I even think I see a power line a little bit down there, or some sort of cord here, definitely adding to the situation. I'm also seeing some trees down that have their roots exposed here, just really putting it into perspective, the amount of damage. Even in this driveway that we're next to, there is a tree on top of a car, but as I've seen from my vantage point, I haven't seen any damaged personal property or homes or vehicles as well.
And look at that. Check out this video captured by storm chaser Rob McBay. This was earlier in the week when multiple tornadoes touched down in Minnesota. It's not clear if this specific storm caused any major damage or injury, but it shows just what some of these severe weather events can actually produce. And those same areas could see more severe weather today. The National Weather Service says strong to severe thunderstorms are expected from the southern plains into the Mississippi Valley, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley. The greatest risk stretches from Oklahoma and North Texas through Missouri, Illinois, and into parts of Michigan and the Great Lakes. The main threats today include damaging wind gusts, large hail, and a few tornadoes. Heavy rainfall could lead to flooding, especially where storms are tracking over the same areas. Meanwhile, several areas continue to deal with record-setting heat. Even though it's only mid-April, temperatures in parts of the eastern U.S. are expected to reach the low 90s today, including D.C. is among those cities along with Philly, while New York City is expected to see highs in the upper 80s. In Atlanta, temperatures will be very warm again today with highs in the upper 80s for folks who make a living outdoors. An extra layer of safety rises to the top. Madeline Montgomery reports.
The arborists and tree surgeons at Trees Plus are getting paid to remove the shade that they could use.
We're outside in the sun as soon as it crests around anywhere from 8 a.m. to some days it's 6 p.m. and that's 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week.
Nick Sanchez owns Trees Plus. To prepare his employees for the heat, he has weekly safety meetings with them.
We kind of go through the weather of the week and sort of how it's going to be and what we need to do to prepare for it. So that's like starting jobs earlier. Maybe we're adjusting our start time to an hour earlier.
Sanchez likes beverage options to keep his team hydrated in the heat.
A lot of our coolers and everything, when we stock up in the mornings, go to the ice machine, we're putting waters, Gatorade Zeros and stuff like that, so they're not getting too much sugar throughout the day. But we also keep the Element salt packets in all the trucks. That way they're getting, proper dose of sodium, potassium, magnesium. Like you do kind of get that shock of that first heat of like, oh, okay, it's back. And that kind of takes like a little bit. It takes about a week or so to adjust to that, breaking a sweat again while you're actually working.
Hot in the east, cold in the west. We head to Colorado, where a sudden burst of heavy snow took drivers by surprise along I-70 in the mountain west of Denver. The whiteout conditions caused dozens of vehicles to spin out and crash near the Loveland ski area and the Eisenhower Tunnel. This driver witnessed the pileup but managed to steer clear of it.
Yeah, I started to see semis starting to jackknife in the distance, threw on the hazards, slowed down, probably stopped about 45 yards back, and then saw cars starting to pile up behind me and slowly crept forward and inched over this way. It was terrifying. Watching semis jackknife behind you is not what I'd want to be doing when you're stuck in your car and there's a guardrail on the right and a median on the left.
Well, more than 75 cars were involved. It isn't clear how many people, if any, were hurt in any of these crashes. And for most areas, spring is in full swing with warming temperatures, but in some places like Massachusetts, there are stubborn signs of winter still visible. And in this particular case of Curiosity, Mike Sullivan has more.
The pitter-patter of water can be soothing, just not when it's the byproduct of thousands of pounds of melting snow. Instead, that tapping is more like the ticking of a bomb.
We may see that car start to collapse under its own weight.
This Ford Escape belongs to the city of Somerville. Its condition leaving onlookers aghast.
Oh, looks like the windshield might be punched in.
But how did it get like this? That's what John Neely wants to know.
I don't think they're going to drive that thing again. I mean, I think those are gone.
The Somerville Department of Public Works say they did it on purpose. These cars were inoperable and awaiting disposal. With back-to-back major snowstorms this year, they didn't want to divert storm resources to move the cars. And with dwindling places to put snow, burying them was their best choice.
Saw this on a Reddit post on the Boston subreddit yesterday. It hit pretty quick and furious.
Ian Greenaw wasn't sure if the image he saw online was AI, so he came here to confirm its legitimacy.
Hopefully I've done my due diligence for the community here.
So how long will this spectacle stay with temperatures rising?
We've seen snowpiles last into June and even July in some years.
WBZ's weather executive producer, Terry Eliason, say white snow reflects the sun and melts slower.
And if you have dirtier snow, dark colors absorb sunlight, so the sunlight would actually melt it quicker.
And dark it certainly is. Inside this cove is a canyon of filth, including its own murky lagoon. Surrounding this water is more heavy snowpack, with DPW saying there's multiple cars buried inside.
The total number sits at 6.
It's an interesting science experiment to have in your neighborhood.
Let's do some math. According to our weather team, there's roughly 3 pickup trucks worth of weight pressure for every 2 inches of wet snow. That means if there's 10 feet of snow on top of this car, that's 15 pickup trucks worth of weight.
That car probably has, I don't know, 50, 60,000 pounds at least on top of it. So the fact that it may just be so encased in ice that maybe perhaps once the snow starts melting, it'll just collapse.
It's a sight neighbors will continue to monitor.
It's free Boston entertainment.
And some good news out of Hawaii. A symbol of resilience in Maui is showing signs of life again after devastating wildfires. The beloved Lahaina banyan tree, which was badly charred during the deadly wildfires in August of 2023, is now recovering. Recent rains have helped bring the tree back, with new video showing it's looking green and lush. Once again, officials say the tree's recovery is remarkable, a remarkable step forward after last year's devastation. And for the latest weather news and video, be sure to follow us on social media. We are on all of your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how drought is impacting golfing in Colorado, and we'll share tips for staying safe on the water this spring season.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. Check out the huge range in temperatures on the way in the Northeast. Today, parts of southern New England, New York, and New Jersey will get into the 70s and 80s. While northern New England, the Cape and the Islands will be a little bit cooler, of course, 50s, and even some 40s up into Canada. How about that? A huge range is expected due to a front that will bisect the Northeast. Here we are at 6 o'clock in the evening today. We're introducing some of those showers approaching from the west. The best chance for late-day thunderstorms will be in southern New England.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Staying mostly dry for your Wednesday as the front's going to stay further north. That means we'll be looking at any rainfall chances staying up towards Pennsylvania, New York. But those temperatures are going to stay pretty hot, well above the average and close to breaking records until we get closer towards this weekend. Those highs in the 90s or even the 80s will likely see some records fall on your Wednesday and maybe even again on Thursday.
I'm meteorologist Lauren Oleski with a look at your forecast across the southeast. It's going to be a warm one for Wednesday afternoon with temperatures climbing up into the 80s outside. Still comfortable though. It's not a whole lot of humidity around, so the air staying relatively dry makes it feel okay. High pressure still in place, keeping skies nice and clear going through the rest of the week before a front boundary eventually moves across the southeast. That will be developing and moving through later on this week and into the weekend.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Rainbows usually appear after rain showers or storms, like this double bow photographed in the South Bend area about a week or so ago. But rainbows show up whenever conditions are right, with water droplets from rain or a fire hose, and sunlight filtered through the droplets into its spectrum of colors.
For more content like this,